Alright, hello everyone. It's the finished version, I guess, for this summer of the 62 Valiant Station Wagon. So I did a few little restoration blogs on this, and then I got sort of bogged down with other projects and work, and then I never followed up with anything. But since my last video on this car, I've taken it to a bunch of shows throughout the summer, sorted out a few little driving issues, and took it to Carlisle, and I've been really enjoying the car. So got the engine all done, all sorted out. I changed it to an Edelbrock carburetor. It had a Holley 390 on there, and I just couldn't get the thing to tune the way that I wanted it. So I bought an Edelbrock 500, put that on, and it seems to be getting tuned up pretty good. A lot of folks will ask me at the car shows, what is the O2 sensor for? Well, that just allows me to make a more educated jetting decision through all my driving modes, full throttle, idle, part throttle, etc. I don't have any computer on this car, but I just have this mounted with my gauge set under the dash. So the engine's mostly detailed, looks pretty good. It's not perfect, it's not 100% show quality, but it's good enough for driving. I had all kinds of things that went wrong after I built them. I had an alternator that went out, so I rebuilt the old alternator, and this is actually the back half of an alternator from a parts car. I still need to put it all together. I had the front half and the old case that was original to the vehicle all detailed. I had some trips scheduled, so I just kind of cleaned this one up. This back half worked properly, and I'll get that resorted out. I'm still looking for a good set of original horns. These are like replacement FAM horns, and I just kind of made a bracket, put them both on this side. This car had the optional dual horns, where I had a horn over here and also a horn over here, and believe it or not, they just are clogged up and don't work. This car has factory power steering, which adds a little bit of weight to the whole setup, but you don't see a lot of these on the early Valiants. But this car does have it. So when I redid everything, I cleaned up the original box and rebuilt the pump. And we'll take a listen to how the engine sounds after I've gotten it tuned. I put 4-piston OE style calipers, like 67 Formula S Barracuda. Kept it small bolt pattern, and it's got the 14-inch wheels as well. It has an 8 3/4 with a 355. This originally had a 355 ratio in it, and a 7 1/4. I kept it a 355 for now, and it has a Torsen differential. And sometimes they'll ask me, people see the car and then they'll ask me, like, how does the back window go down? This one doesn't have the electric option. It's got the little crank here. Pull that out, give it a crank, and then the tailgate opens from the inside. That's the handle there. And this car has, amazingly, the original rubber mat, which is just crispy. So anytime I lift it, it loses parts. But this one doesn't have a third seat. It's not a Suburban. I don't know if they made the Suburban Valiant wagons in 62. I know they made them in 60 and 61. But this one's a 62, of course. I built the exhaust for it in the spring, in April. It's just a single exhaust, so it's got headers, and they merge into a single 2.5-inch pipe. Probably right about here under the driver's seat. Let's take a look at the interior a little bit. Oh, another thing that I added that's, I think, kind of neat and kind of necessary if you drive these cars with any sort of spirit, is you got to get the fuel spill tray from Australia. So there's still going to be fuel that'll come out the cap. I don't know that there's really any solution for that other than putting one of my other vehicles, a 64 Dart, I put a ball valve in there in line, so I could actually just shut the fuel filler off. But that car has a trunk, it's not a station wagon. So on the station wagon, this fuel filler goes straight down, kind of does an S-bend under the panel, the cargo panel. So that wasn't really a viable option. So I went and bought a few of these on eBay, and they make them reproduction. They're not for this car, but it looks appropriate. So any of my R&S series buddies out there in Australia, you know what I'm talking about. So this car was originally a Pennsylvania car, and it's not a perfect interior, but it's very nice for what it is. There's not many Valiant wagons that you're going to see, first of all, or Lancer wagons in the first place. And then the interior, to the best of my knowledge, a headliner, seats. Now the carpet has been replaced before I got it. Door panels, dashboard, all that stuff is still original, which is nice. Steering wheel, I have black cover on it. It's also original. It's got quite a bit of paint wear on it. I'm getting another one of these redone. You know, they always just had very I don't want to say cheap, but early on in plastic chroming technology, so they just didn't last very well. So that's the interior. Let's start it up. So from the last time I ran this vehicle, and this is a 3 on the tree car, so when you drive one of these, if you haven't ever seen a 3 on a tree, first gear's down here, reverse is above it, so it's the same as your H pattern on the floor, it's turned this way. So first, cross over up to second, and then third. Now what I would like to do is just really for drivability and fun factor, I'm going to put a 5-speed in here, which will require all kinds of sheet metal work and removing the upper cross member, because I want to put a T5 in, and hopefully it'll fit without having to modify the seat. This car originally didn't have a radio. Previous owner installed a radio in here, so I'm kind of working on that. I put 4-way flashers on, the old flare stat. The only thing I don't like about this is when you put the brake pedal on, it stops flashing the 4-ways, but I feel that that's kind of a necessary thing in modern traffic. And we got our O2 gauge, again, just for the carburetor, tuning decisions, the oil pressure, and so forth. All right, so let's start it up and take a listen to the engine. This car also has the factory backup lamps. Again, not all these 62s would have had these. These weren't standard, I think, until 67 possibly. I fabricated and built a hitch for it. I did some towing. I'll have to do a video on the trailer, but you can hear it's got a cam in there. It's not all out race cam, but it sounds pretty good for what it is. So that's my update on the Valiant wagon. I've had a lot of fun with it this summer, and like I said, I'll have to do a video on the trailer. I basically have a matching trailer that goes with this car that I built out of another 62 Valiant that was a parts car, and I just made a trailer out of it. So again, it's just something different you don't see every day. All right. Have a great day, everyone.